Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Thursday to you. 7/14/2022. Made some pretty big moves again today. We're gonna look at GME, what's going on. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at Happy Money YT with our new little screenshot there. Solar Cat. This one's pretty sick. Yeah, here we are. And we have a Discord link for that's in the description. We share our trades, ideas, thoughts. So CP like came out. Let's see, was that today? That's so weird. Yeah, CP like came out. I'm so confused. 9.1%. Was that yesterday? That was yesterday. Okay. Kind of gapped down today, and then market rallied a bit. I still think we're gonna get a rally. Consumer sentiment is tomorrow. I'm bullish on the SPY for a bear market rally, like a long extended one potentially, maybe a month. And I think GME might go with it at that point. But GME today, so if you watched my video 2 days ago, I gave triggers for when I'm going to be taking profits, and they basically hit today. So yeah. Today was good. Volume was pretty good. I actually ended up making more volume. Look at that. I think some of that's just because the downward volume we made here. Yeah. So the problem is we didn't fully break out, and that was a bad sign. I mean it did, but it was breaking out on low volume, relatively low. Like volume today is pretty good, but it's not to break out into these higher numbers above 150, above these trend lines. It looks like we're gonna need a lot of volume. Like, you know, during this little pinch, we had 8 million that day, and then when we broke above that, we were at 16 million. So it's gonna need a lot of volume to push through. And the fact it started tapering kind of at that 150 range, it almost even made the new high. Like I was like, this is the last resistance is at 153. Hyped to get past 150, and then it was like, it seemed like that's all it needed, but it was such a mellow breakout, really. Which is good in a way, but with GME it can't, because that's just signs that it's somewhat controlled. If it's not mellow and it's violent, there's lots of volume. It's kind of weird what's going on after hours, 121%. I'm not sure why it's moving up after hours. I mean, it's low volume, but typically it's not up a percent after hours. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, and then it was kind of just at this price point where if it's going to go through, it needs to go through with a lot of volume and kind of keep going for that to be a new support, because that resistance is strong for sure. Everything's still good. Our indicators are still good. We're still bullish. The only issue now is that it looks like we're still in this bull flag, and I don't know if today is just a one-day pullback. I'm assuming tomorrow will also come down some too, because it's Friday. Similar to like this day after that day, because today looks very similar to that day, and I don't know if we'll come down that far tomorrow, but maybe. And if we do, that'd be like 129. Max Pain I think is 135 tomorrow. If there's after hours news, all bets are off. We could be up 100% tomorrow. It's getting volatile too, which is, to me, is a good sign. The fact that we detached from the SPY quite a bit today, that has me excited, basically. We've kind of outpaced it to the upside, and then just a massive short attack. So this was definitely coordinated. It wasn't we're at kind of the breakout. It was timed, I don't know, with VWAP, with, I don't know, but it definitely was building up of a position of shares to short it and using them. So the fact that we're breaking away from SPY, even though it was to the downside, I think is good. We're seeing volatility, which is what we're gonna have for a big move to happen. Don pointed out, because I actually saw it first about AMC, and I'm like, I was putting gifs in chat, like, peace out AMC, because we were just ripping up today pretty good, and AMC was just flat. So the rip on these SLD period days is pretty mellow, typically, except for, I guess, next week is when we're used to seeing more violent price action from SLD. So this week was a little unexpected. This early first week SLD price action is the same thing that kind of happened back here. So potentially today, just like a one-day pullback, kind of like here before big move, or 2 or 3 day. I would expect more than a 1 day. because I'd say Tuesday of next week could be the beginning of another rip. Or the other more long-term idea is that we're now in this range, and so we're going to come back down here just like we did here and retest these 117, these 1 and teen numbers, 115, 117, 120 area. But this is all excluding the split, and if that has any effect on naked shorts closing, any news of partnerships with the NFT marketplace, you know, anything like that. Just looking TA wise and obligations. But for us to come back down here, that would probably take at least a week. And I think, next week should still be very bullish. I would say it's very bullish for the window I would give it is the next 3 weeks, actually. So with that, it seems like today just kind of a brief pullback. Tomorrow and maybe Monday will also, and maybe with that we'll get down 125 before another move up. But at any rate, it's possible that we're just going to be in this bull flag and we come all the way back down here, and it takes until more beginning of next month before we break out. My concern would be if we just start coming down and then we break these supports, then it's like, okay, what's going on? Probably going to test way lower then if that happens. I don't see that happening. Everything still looks bullish. Today was just not able to break out today. So tomorrow they'll probably bring it down some more, and then Monday probably even a little bit more, and then Tuesdays are good. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hopeful for that. Today the way I moved around, so if you remember the way I said I was going to basically look for a turnaround is with the borrow rate and just basically using iBorrow desk very simply. These last two pinches we had, there was pretty clear signs just on this site alone. And not to say it'll keep happening this way, but I kind of put my money on it, and it did so far. Potentially today just a small pullback in the borrow fee, or this is the top of the range. We're going to come all the way back down to the 115, 117 area. So we kept increasing 37, and then today, the problem with this is sometimes it doesn't even show up because they're out of shares completely. But today it started coming down 33, not a huge move down, but this was a delay, and I started to see it plateau here, and there's a plateau here and a plateau here, and that's usually the sign before it starts to come down. So this was the first time. So the plateau actually happened right here, and that's 329. So 329, that was the first day it was lower. Really, it did 27 for 2 days in a row, and then plateau, and then it came down. So this is kind of a leading indicator to me. At least it was these last 2 times, and maybe this time it is too. It seems like it so far. This time was 6.3, and so that time we're still kind of in that range. So 6.3 is what? It's like right here. So the borrow fee started to come down right here, but it's been choppy. So we've been staying up in this range, in this bull flag, since it came down there. Since it came from 100 down to, and it's just kind of settled here, basically this 30s, in these 30s. And it started to go up, and that's bullish, and we're seeing a rally coinciding with that. But now that's coming down, I'm wondering if it's another move like this or another move like this, and we're going to see the price action to follow. And that would basically, after that first time, it was a big move down. So we're not in this position yet, I don't think. We're at the top right here, and that's right here, and we're coming down. Since we are still in this bull flag and we still have elevated borrow fees, it's potential we're just kind of in this, just staying in this bull flag for now. And so I'm gonna keep an eye on that borrow fee. If it starts to tick back up, I'm gonna definitely be careful. But it turning around today, so that was the first sign I saw. Oh, did I say the theory? Yeah, I'll say this theory that Donrow, and that's so weird, I'm scatterbrained. I was looking at AMC and we were kind of taking off. AMC wasn't, and then Don was thinking from Discord, he's like dropping GME down to basically match back up with AMC, and that could be the case with their swap theory, and to keep their swap margins or swaps in check or whatever. Kind of irrelevant to me, I guess. Doesn't really matter, it's just speculation. But I mean, maybe that's an indicator you could use if GME is ripping up 6-7%, AMC's flat. Maybe don't expect GME to keep going. For me, it just slowed down up here. It did break out into the 150. This is my indicators why I got out, I'm saying basically. did break down, break out of the 150, but we still had that 153 just a little bit higher. And the volume's been weak, not weak, like it's been pretty good, but it's not big volume, you know, 10, $15 million days to where, or 15 million volume days to where you could break big resistances that are, you know, these have been built for, this is a really strong level right here, this whole range, as you can see. So 200 moving average, we did cross over yesterday, came back down, crossover ways today, but look, they brought it all the way back down. So this is a big area where we're gonna need a lot of volume, and it wasn't quite happening today. Kind of hit a double top. I wasn't even looking at that. At this point I was totally long, and then it came down. I'm like, okay, not too good. SPY was coming down some, but we've pretty much been detached from SPY. Basically it was VWAP. Us crossing VWAP I thought would not be good if we crossed below VWAP, and that borrow fee was looming. So the borrow fee was already down, and for it to be down and then go up in the same day, I don't know how likely that is, but it didn't seem very likely to go from 37 yesterday and then down to 33. It didn't seem like it was going to go back up to 37 and have a short plateau. So that's how I was able to time this exit. I mean, I was late. I'm not trying to time the tops. Like, time the tops and bottoms, you're just going to get screwed. So I was waiting for the momentum and crossing VWAP and the borrow fee. I'm like, all right, it seems like this runs over. And I don't know if it's over for months or just for a day or two. But I trimmed a bunch actually right here. The shares on Webull, my margin shares, and my TD shares. So different people have different financial situations. You have to trade it how you're able to. This is the way I have to basically position myself with it at this point. And then right here we got in a put, 143 put, which went 200% in like 5 minutes. Just a little bit. I wasn't going big on it, but really the big thing for me today, which was something I'm not used to doing, is locking in profits, and it's needed for me at this point. So I did it, and we'll see. You know, what's nice about shares is if we get news after hours, this thing starts to go crazy, I will be loading back up with a bunch of shares after hours. I'm still carrying a large amount of shares, so ones I'm not selling or ones I'm trying to marinate. So I've got 500 on here, and then 100 still on here on TD. But as you see, I closed out those other 200. I'm gonna swap lots, so it's last in, last out, and then these have only like 2 more months till they're long term. So now I've got 30K in buying power, so I can put that into shares, options, whatever. Probably do shares in this account. If this is the top, then I will wait for it to come down more and kind of confirm that. Then I'll start selling cash secured puts again on this account, as well as probably Webull and Fidelity, just because that's a nice way to have basically passive income. On Fidelity with the margin shares, I think, let's see, we realized like 10 grand. So yeah, brought this account up. And then on TD, I don't really know even. And then on here, I think it was like 2 grand, so it was only like 90 shares or something. So I'm hanging out for a bit. I did get some exposure back in. I went back long around here, just in case there's after hours news, since you can't get into options after hours. And then of course my shares is kind of my backup for buying in after hours to get a larger position. So what did I get? I got 165 235s for August 5th. So everything else on here that I had yesterday, yeah, I closed out of small profits, nothing crazy. They're spreads, so we really need time to decay, and none of them were really for this week. I did end up getting some this morning and then closed out of them, and yeah, a lot of GME trading in there. So the puts, I think the puts were my biggest percentage today. What did I do? Oh, it was a protective put, 143. So it's 252 I opened it up at, and I closed it for 655. So whatever percentage that is. I bought AbbVie 149 puts, ex-dividend dates today. Typically they sell off after ex-dividend. Sometimes they don't, but that's a normal thing. That's for next week. And then I got BBBY calls for December 23, $6 calls. Probably do poor man covered calls with these. It's at such a low price that it seemed like, you know, if it goes bankrupt, it's not going to work. But if it doesn't, then these these could do pretty well. 190 days, and it's at a $6 call. So if it's in the 20s or 30s, you know, it's just deep in the money, and I'll easily be able to sell other calls against these to do that poor man's cover call. So those are basically the moves I did today. What I'm waiting for now to go heavy into options, somewhat of a time frame thing, trying not to get too shaken up during the midday intraday moves. My timing would be Monday, probably, and maybe that'll be too late, I don't know. Monday on a dip, you know, the lowest I could find it on Monday, hopefully after 10:30, after volatility is kind of over, and then hopefully to grab at least, you know, that week exposure in the next 2 weeks. And the only case I wouldn't do that is if we were probably below 113 by Monday. If we're below here by Monday, I'm gonna say this pinch is over, and we'll start selling cash secured puts with like 20 delta. But as long as we've held up above this, I still see this as a bull flag and bullish, and I see bullish price action after the split, regardless of naked shorts covering or anything. It might take a little while. Right after the split, it's possible that stock kind of sells off a little bit because all the new shares that are coming in, and people like want to trim their position because it becomes way larger than they really ever wanted, and that's kind of a normal thing. The price action up into the split, say on Tesla when they did their split via dividend. I've had a long debate on Discord about why splits happen via dividend. If you have any insight into why do stocks split via dividend instead of forward split, please comment below. Let me know. I'm genuinely curious why they do that. What's the benefit to them to do that over a forward split? So this was the announcement day on Tesla. It basically doubled to the split date. So this for GME is next Friday. The record date for GME would be like right here. I don't know if Tesla did actually. We looked at the record date. I think the record date on Tesla was like right here. So if we're looking at this chart, it would be end of next Friday where it would be kind of a peak, and then once it splits, it's possible to have a little sell off. But I mean, Tesla is not nearly manipulated like GME, and the short interest on there is nowhere close to GME, so it's possible it doesn't follow that pattern. You know, of course. Without split or anything like that, it looks like we're still in a setup for a huge move up. Whether that comes next week or the week after, I'm still bullish. This weekly bull flag, bullish MACD. At this point, it's kind of waiting through the volatility, not jumping back in too quick. I know it's hard because you have all these calls that are doing very well up here, and then it dumps, and you're like, oh, and you sell for a loss or whatever, or you hold, and then you're starting to buy already right here. But this is when you just got to practice patience. It's not typical where it would just go down really heavy and then shoot up. You know, it's a ton of momentum that brought it down, a lot of volume, and that's possible that'll continue on and carry on. It could be weeks. So being patient to get back in is a tough thing. That's kind of revenge trading, I guess, just getting back in right away. That said, I did get back in a little bit just for after hours news. If we don't get after hours news that rips the stock price, I will probably be selling the spread I got for now, this 165 235. So yeah, lot of crazy stuff. Still bullish on SPY, and yeah, that's the way I'm gonna have to play it somewhat. The margin, you know, the margin shares and stuff, I've got to be much more careful with how I do that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on Discord. Peace out.